Today we are going to have a little bit different session. You are going to arrange some, and we are just inviting Flemming, Helle, Henrik, Lisa, and Søren up here at the stage. Let's welcome them.
Good morning. And as we are about to see it, I'll just introduce my very good friends for you. Besides me sits Lisa and Søren. They are married. They have lived in China for 10.5 years. You have lived in Nepal. You have lived in Israel. Lisa has been helping women, trafficked women, out of their isolated situations. For many years you have built 3 shelters where they can get a new life, and you've made a factory where they do make jewelry. Yeah. And how many women would you think has been through the Eden ministry and helped on in life?
We've helped at least 1,000 women to start a new life, and more than 500 have been baptized.
Wonderful. And now Søren and Lisa has moved to Burma to start a vineyard church plant, and you're also part of Copenhagen Vineyard. And Søren, you have been working in Nepal also, and in China. In China, you have founded school for children who were living in the slum. You have made a home for men, elderly men who were disabled and homeless, and you have helped out church planting in Nepal. You have translated the Bible into one of the minority languages in China. And if I go on to Henrik, no, I'll just introduce you. And you cannot say anything yet, Henrik. No. Henrik is married to Annika, and they got 4 children, and they live in Norrköping and are now leading Norrköping Vineyard. So in 2000, you, together with 2 friends, founded a company called Dream Park. And it's a company that has developed television software. And so 3 years ago, you and your friends sold the companies. You were probably more than 100 people on staff at that time. So it was a huge company. And God called you to lead Norrköping Vineyard, where you have been working since then, and seeing amazing things happen in that church. And a part of that has been to establish a new company, which is called Styrke. You will see a movie in a minute about that, and it's just wonderful. And Helle, at the right side, is associate senior pastor in Copenhagen Vineyard, married to Carsten. You've got 2 girls, and Helle has been, I would say, more or less transforming our church into being a social, active church in Copenhagen. Has founded a ministry with trafficked women, and been networking in Copenhagen, and also established various social activities in the church, like handymen, prison ministry, ministry on the streets, and are constantly thinking visionary. And it's a privilege for us in Copenhagen Vineyard to have Helle and work and see how she leads us in that. So could you just very shortly, in 5.5 words, tell us about your background? Please tell us that you are ordinary people.
Yes, I'm from a small fishing town in England, and my background is in counseling.
I'm very ordinary also. I come from Bornholm, and I'm an electrician. That is make me very much qualified to be a missionary.
Yeah, I'm very ordinary. I actually was almost kicked out of university. I have never gone to school, and yeah, I'm very ordinary.
I'm also extremely ordinary. Just housewife living among other housewives in the suburb of Copenhagen.
Right. Right. So, what happened when you, the first time, got the idea? And I'm asking you, Henrik, what happened the first time you got the idea or the thought of this dream of developing Styrke?
Well, it's a long story. No, it probably isn't. It isn't that kind of a dream or a vision. It started with that I felt when we was selling the company, something happened inside of me, saying, "What have I done in past 10 years?"
Your previous company.
Yeah, previous company, and I felt that I want to be part of the real stuff. I want to see people changed. I want to see people get to know Jesus. I want to see people restored, and that was the calling, more or less. And when I met Sebastian on the street in Norrköping, when we prayed for people, and heard their story and where they were, and hearing the story that we can't go on because we don't have a job. So that hit me, and I asked my wife, "Is it okay that we start a company?" And yeah, sure. And we asked them, "What do you want to do?" Because you need a job, and we want to do contract stuff, work with hands. And okay, let's start a company. So that's how it started. We didn't have a vision of the big vision. It started with 2 people meeting, but from that, God just took it to help other.
So how long ago did you start the company, Styrke?
8 months ago.
8 months ago?
Yeah.
How many are employed today?
I'm not as good in numbers, but I think it's 38. But we are heading for 40. We are planning for 40.
Helle, what happened? What dream? What thought came into you when you were starting up the social work in Copenhagen?
Actually, I think something happened at a conference like this. I think there was a song about God break my heart for what breaks you, or something like that, and I was joining in that worship. And later, when I was just an ordinary day, I was in my bed going to sleep, and then suddenly God just hit me with almost a painful compassion for women trapped in trafficking in Copenhagen, because I knew those women were just like me, same age, and just around the corner they were living awful lives. And I couldn't sleep, and I was just interrupted by God in my normal life. And I said to God that night, "I promise you I will try to do something." And that's how it started.
Yes. And Søren, if you pass the microphone, how did it start for you? What was it you thought? What was the dream?
I was in a prayer meeting in Jerusalem, and I had a picture of a Chinese old man that was calling to go to China, that there was need in China. And in the prayer meeting, there was another Chinese. So I said to her, you have to go to China because there's need in China. But she...
So not you?
I mean, it's pretty obvious you had to have something about China. So, I mean, there's a Chinese person, they should go. But she did not want to go. She was very much saying that this was not for her. And then I realized that God gave the picture to me because he wanted me to go. But that was then over a long period, maybe only 2 years later we came to China. But that was really deep on me, like that I have to go to China. There's something there, there's a call. And later I actually find out that my father's aunt, she died as a missionary exactly where we was in China. So that was later a confirmation. Oh.
Thank you, Søren.
I shouldn't talk too much.
No, that's fine. Lisa?
Well, I didn't get the call to go to China, but I kind of had to go because he got it. So when I was there anyway, I was thinking, okay, I may as well ask God, where is there nobody working? Where is there a gap in God's business? Where is there a hole? Where is there nobody that is standing up for you? And that's when he asked me if I would go to the pimps and the mafia and the prostitutes and the red light districts to represent his love there.
And and how, we all, many of us get dreams and ideas from God. How can you know that a dream like that is from God? How can you know? How can you tell?
Who do you want to ask?
Lisa, I want to ask you.
Whenever I've received visions or dreams from God, it has an authority to it. That's the way that I can best describe it. There's an authority that is not like your own thought or your own dream. And it has something in it that is always reaching out for mercy. And it's not in a human way. It's in a divine way. And the dreams and the visions that God has given me, I still remember 10, 15 years later with the same clarity.
Okay. Any of you? Søren?
Well, when I'm reading the Bible, for instance, if I'm preparing for preaching in Copenhagen, I just have to dig into what does Jesus actually mean. And there's so many things that Jesus is saying in the Good Samaritan, when he says, whatever you do to the least of mine, you are doing it unto me. There's so many biblical things that is just confirming. And for me, that is very important to see that the Bible is confirming what I experience that God is talking to me about.
Is it okay? In my case, I totally agree what you're saying, but in my case it was do something, do anything. And because I was in the States, I've been saved for 25 years, and I can count the people I've been leading to Christ in one hand. So I want to be part. I want to do the stuff. I want to see people change. Do something. That was I had a lot of vision, a lot of ideas, but do something. Start somewhere.
And you do see people get changed. I know that in the morning before you go out to work, you start with coffee and prayer for those who want to take part in it. And we have met your friends here the other night, Patrick and Sebastian, and seen what God is doing in the lives.
We count for 8 of them coming to faith, who works in Styrka. And they bring the family who are coming to faith and so on. So it's happening, but we have to start somewhere. Doing something, not just wait for a big calling. I don't think there are that many people who is that kind of typical called big thing. It's in the small things. In the small thing happens the big things. So we have to start doing it.
And as I've said before, I would so much encourage you to invite them to your churches. It's just, for us, it did something very, very special, precious. And Søren?
Well, I think there's like a DNA how God's ideas what we should do. So if we get a feeling that we should buy a Porsche and drive around in it, then it might not be from God. It is like there's an outcome.
It could be.
Well, you know, yeah, and okay, maybe for you, Flemming. But it is also many times that it is something we don't want to do, because we know that it is uncomfortable. It's a sacrifice. When we went to China, it was a sacrifice. Go to Burma, it's a sacrifice. So we know it is not from us. It's certainly not something we chose to do. It is something that comes from God.
So, what were the first steps in this dream? What were the first thing you did to see this dream come true? I mean, we have a lot of dreams, a huge potential in our Nordic family, and if God speaks to us, what to do? What would you recommend us? What did you do as the first steps?
I was recommended to ask somebody who have taken steps in that area before me. So I was calling a friend of mine in another church asking her advice, and she said, well, if this is on your heart, why don't you just find out who is already engaged and then ask them, can we help you? And that's what I did. So I called an organization in Copenhagen working with trafficked women, and I said, can we help? And that's how it started.
And one of the very good things about that was that you started networking with people in Copenhagen. Yeah.
I think that the story of Gideon is very good, because he had very much doubt, Gideon, about was it God speaking to him or not. He put this blanket out. Yes, wasn't that Gideon? Yeah. And he was having so much doubt about it, but he continued with the confirmation, and we really believe in confirmation, that God will confirm his word. If he starts speaking to us, that he will confirm by random people coming up and saying something that really confirm what you already feel.
I think it could be a hard question, because depending on what you feel like you want to do. It's not hard to help the poor. You have to help them. It could be hard to start a ministry in creative. It depends how to make the first step, I think. But as we have mentioned, it's a vision becomes a vision when you start to act on it. Otherwise, it could be just a fantasy. So you have to start acting to test and see if this works, and it's always part of the risk taking. It's always because it's a faith. It's a faith thing. So we have to test and risk and put money into it, put our heart into it, and see if it's works. And it's in the small things, but it's always part of risk. We can't say put it in on something, like in your story. There's a Chinese woman. She might have the calling. It's personal, and it's heart to heart thing mostly, I think.
Lisa?
Yeah, for me it was, first of all, to cast the vision, to start sharing it with people and see if other people got excited about it, if other people, because I was looking for somebody to partner with me in the vision, because it's important that you're together with other people when you're moving forward in these things of God. We need encouragement. We need other people to share the load and share the burden. And the second thing was to research as much as possible. After God had asked me to go to these places, I researched about what the problem was, how it was happening happening, why it was happening, where the girls were being trafficked to. So I got as much information as possible so that when I would start to go into the areas, I had greater awareness of what was going on.
And Søren, I know that you were really so encouraged by Carl Madeira's message yesterday that it doesn't always work.
Yeah, we was very encouraged about your message. Oh man, it was so good. Because when you start to move in a new thing, you expect instant success, and you go following success, judging according to success and not according to did you feel God wanted you to do this. So the first little problem comes. No, we shouldn't go this way. We shouldn't do this. So we should not go like this world according to success, but according to, did God say? And did God want me to do this? And is this the right thing to do? So I was very encouraged about this, that we made, I guess all of us here, we made many mistakes. And but we're not as bold as our brother here to talk about it.
Yeah. And so have you experienced that a dream can take another direction or kind of develop into something a little different? And how did you go through that process?
Well, for us, once we started the shelter, we knew that the women needed a work. We had women coming out of the red light areas, but they were just sitting, twiddling their thumbs all day. So then we started to look for social enterprise ideas. And that was really a journey. I thought, Scandinavian felting. Yeah, let's get all the girls felting. And it was just a nightmare in the end because we made slippers and we used Chinese dye and they colored everybody's feet purple and green and they got all like animals, like nasty things in them. So that didn't go well. And then we thought about making pasta, but then I would go to the shelter and the girls had been hanging pasta next to their underwear on the washing line out. So that didn't really work out either. So it took us a while to get to jewelry.
We was having with the schools in China. We was because we was making Christian school. It wasn't registered school. So the first time the police turned up and was getting upset, we got very depressed and very shocked. But then you get used to it. The police come by, you close the school, you open it another place. So you it's just day life, And also when we first wanted to go into mission. Then we wanted to go to a mission company to send us out to mission. That was a big mistake. And they wanted to send us, and they started to talk about it, and we packed our things, and we thought we would get a little salary and all of it, and then they rejected us. And it was a big, personally saying, oh man, we are not good enough to go to mission. Those big companies, they must know what they are doing. But then we just went anyway. We packed our things and then we went anyway, and it worked out.
Oh man, more or less every day is both failure and success. And when we start, my idea when we started was that we need to network, we need to help with the community. So I went to the community and the high bosses and said that we have kind of 40 criminals who want to get out of criminality. Could you, could we network? Could we do something? And they said that was my big plan, to receive money from community service to start up, because this was a big opportunity to rescue people. And they said, "Oh, that's great. Good luck." And it just closed the door, and it's just okay. I'm standing there, and I'm a bit stupid, so I start to promise things before. Let's go for this. So we had to employ them ourselves, and so we started to employ 7 people from more or less day one we started. 7 criminal ex-drug addicts. And my brain said, don't do it. My small peanut-sized brain shouting. My heart said, I believe in you. I believe in you, and I trust you with building a company. And so daily it's both failure and success, more or less. And Sebastian, who works side by side with me, he's the one building Styrka right now, actually. He's the leader of the companies, all the responsibility for all the customers, taking care of all the more or less things. So he's the success, I'm the failure. I'm just a handyman, doing my part, but he's the hero, actually. You don't have any failures, I know.
A few. I just know that God wants His church to be a church that exists for others, and I know that God loves this world and He loves the dark places. That's why He died. So whatever is shining His light in dark places, that's where we are supposed to be. So I mean, we should just be ready to adjust all the time. And for sure, I've seen many doors being closed in front of me, and then I'm just looking for another door opening, because I'm sure that God is in this. He wants to light His light in dark places.
Because you were also initiating a nightlight cafe in Copenhagen, and the doors were shut, and I remember you didn't accept that. No. Then you got kind of angry, or no, not angry. How would you describe it?
Well, Anne Valsø, who is my co-leader in this, and me, we really had this vision. We knew that many Nigerian women, believers, sisters, women that we are going to be together with in heaven for eternity, were living in Copenhagen as living in a terrible situation and working very hard every night as in prostitution. And it really struck me, and also Anne. So together with a few others from other churches, we started talking, let's open up a night cafe for them just to go in, and we can pray together and we can try to help them. And nobody wanted to have us in their places around the red light district in Copenhagen. Everybody said, no, we don't want you here, we don't want you here, we don't want you here. And especially one place in the middle of the red light district under a church, a perfect spot. They said, oh, maybe you can be here. No, we don't want you. And then we were having a meeting, and some of us were saying, no, let's just give up. And I just thought, no way.
As I told you.
No way. I think we were sitting at a cafe right in front of that church. And I said, I think it's wrong. Let's go and put our hands on that door and pray in the name of Jesus that He will open that door. And that's what He did. Yeah. A few months later, they contacted us and said, okay, you can be here for free.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, a final question. I've written, is it worth it? And yes, it is. But could you mention just one or two things shortly that are the most important reasons that God's dream for your life have become a reality? And while you're thinking of it, I'll just mention that if you have any questions for these friends, there will be a seminar just after the coffee break. It is connected to Anne Valsø, and you can go there if you have further questions. But one or two main reasons that you have seen this dream come true. That's an easy one. No?
Well, one of it is when you start and you get to know the people, just like Helle was saying, and you see the need, you just can't stop. This is one. Another one is that you work together with God. This is God's project, so you feel a nearness and a unity with God as you do it. And you get kind of addicted to this. And it is very hard to let go of, because you feel a part of it.
Amen. Oh, but it is amazing to see people change. It is amazing to see hope rise and see light and peace and joy coming back in people's life. It's amazing to see. We had this employment meeting. This what do you say? When interview people for employment, and we sit with Sebastian and me sit with a guy who is a drug dealer, and we say, tell your story. And he's telling the story. He can't get a job. He's in the register, so no one the society won't touch him. And we say, we believe in you. And we believe that you have a future, and you will be building a company. So do you want to be employed? And they start to cry. Most of them start to cry, and they say, no one ever has said those words. No one ever said, I believe in you. I trust in you. And they start to cry. These gang leaders, and they say, could I hug you? And this third thing they say, is it okay to call my mother? Because I never made her proud. And it's amazing to be part of those kind of stories every day and see people changed, and it's you want to be part of that. So it's go for it.
For me personally, it's to take God's love to the darkest of places is something that is such an amazing experience, because it's where the enemy least expects you to go, and where he's really made everything comfortable for the demonic. And you come in with God's love and God's light, and you can see the response, the kingdom of heaven coming and exploding away the kingdom of darkness. And to know that your response has been a part of radically changing somebody's destiny. Just before we came here, we rescued a 12-year-old girl. And this 12-year-old girl, she was about to be trafficked into Thailand for the pedophile trade. There's a huge pedophile trade from the Western world where underage girls are taken in. If I had not responded in obedience to what God asked me to do, even though it was a sacrifice, what would her life have been? So I just feel that God positions us to be part of his rescue, that she has a totally different destiny now than what was.
We want to share these friends' stories so that we can get a little closer to the dreams God is giving us. There is so much potential in our Nordic family. And I've asked you here in the end to think about, pray about a word of encouragement for us. So please, just go ahead and...
Yeah, I've been praying about that, and I think that one thing is that sometimes we expect a lot of feelings and emotions that God is really stirring us, but actually it's about seeing that, be willing to take responsibility. And my word for you is not, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that and, sharpen up, but it's actually what I felt was that Jesus is calling all of us to follow me, he's saying, follow me. Follow in my footsteps. He will lead you, and all of us are just going to follow him, and he will show the way to whoever that is calling out for him, and you are his tool to reach them. So follow me, Jesus is saying.
I got this word, suck it up and go. No. No. I totally agree, but I feel an urgent heartbeat that he is already there. He's waiting for us. He's not here in the sense that, of course he is. He loves us, and it was amazing last night. I was part of that kind of experience 3 years ago when God just took position in my life again, and everything has changed around that since. So we need that, but still, he's calling us from outside, saying, "I need you here." And we are the hope. We are bringing the kingdom. It's not. That's what his wish also, and we need to step out and start doing. We have to help people in need, and I'm so touched because things are happening in church. Last 2 months, every day more or less, we serve homeless people food, and they just come to church, and God is just pouring people or putting people. There's more people, do more, and He wants to change the world. We are able to change the world because He has all the authority in heaven and earth, and He's sending us. Go with the kingdom. So in a sense, suck it up and go. Yes, we need to. And it's so easy to say, I'm not good enough. I'm not like. I feel awkward sitting here. That's what I feel. But because these guys is amazing.
No, it's this guy.
No, and it's Helle is the best. Yes. And is it okay to share one story in the Bible? Is that okay? Good. Mark 5, the guy who was demonized, with 6,000 demons, and Jesus just delivered him. And afterward, he's sitting with new clothes, and he's saying again, and he's asking Jesus, "Can I follow you? Can I step into the boat with you? Can I follow you? I need some more." And Jesus said, "No, you have enough." And it's 2 hours disciple. I don't know, he had nothing. He has been naked for all his life, hitting himself with rocks. And Jesus said, "Go, you have enough. Go and change 10 cities. Decapolis means 10 cities. And Jesus saw, you have enough. These disciples, they don't, not yet, but you have enough. And in my Christian life, I've been wanting to have more before. And it's the opposite. We have enough. We are vessels already. Every one of you is more capable than me to do mightier things. That's what I feel. I don't feel that I have nothing, but the things I know, I try to do. And so I totally agree that call that I think we're not skipping off. We don't backing off. That might be one talent we got, I think. We're not backing off like Carl. But otherwise we don't have anything more or less than God. And so go do something. You will be changed, and you will see cities changed.
Søren and Lisa, very shortly.
Maybe I should do it then.
Argument on the stage again.
No, when I was hearing, be quiet now, okay? When I was I was hearing from God the one word that was sacrifice. And Jesus, he was saying like, whoever wants to lose his life will gain it. And the more we lose it, the more we gain it. And it sounds in the eyes of the world, it sounds stupid, you know. It sounds contradictory, something. Yeah. But in the spiritual, we will gain it. So it is actually a plus. And another one is that God chooses the foolish in this world. This is us.
You stole my scripture.
No, I never. You never told me that one. We see in the mission field many of those that go back is those that is professional. Those that stay is those that have no education for mission, is bad at languages, is bad at fielding, like Lisa was saying, is bad at have no ability, but only have one thing, and that is God, and the drive from God to do this. So I want to encourage you that if you sit and think, oh, they are different, we are not. We are just the same, and the weaker you are, the stronger you are when you are starting to do it.
5 words. Don't be afraid to go to dark places. 6, is that okay?
So what we'll do now, we'll have a chance to be prayed for. So those of you who has an urge or a dream that should not die and would like to be blessed by our friends here and others who will help to pray, you can come forward.